Milk, 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 milk. Just as important as your coffee. Milk's super important. 90% of all espresso-based coffee sold in Australia use milk, so you've got to get this right. Rule number one, do not use cheap supermarket brand milks. They're exactly that, they're cheap and they'll taste cheap. You can use Paul's Crema, Dairy Farmers Crema, or some local producers like we have up here. We've got Misty Mountains, Mungali Creek. Rule number two, do not use milk too close to its use by date. Milk undergoes a lot of stress when you're basically preparing it for a coffee, so it can actually curdle on the steam one. I've seen it happen and it's not good for you or your customer. Right, fresh cold milk straight from the fridge. So you've got your milk jug here. The first thing you notice is the spout goes down quite a bit, so you need to fill your jug to the desired level. There's different sized jugs for a reason. So this is the level we're going to pour it to. You can go a bit above it, but be careful because it's going to stretch. Do not go below it. You have to be very, very good to get decent milk out of that. Milk shouldn't really go above 65 degrees. It will burn after 65 degrees and its whole flavour will change. Some people like a really hot milk. If they like it, give it to them. The customer's always right. But normally you wouldn't go above 65. So I use this thermometer sometimes, but generally I use this one here. My fingers, not my hands. Your hands are pretty tough. This gentle part of your fingers here. All right, so the first thing you need to do is purge your steam wand. Basically, your coffee machine has a steam boiler in here, and all it is a valve from the boiler to get to your wand. There's steam in it all the time, so if you haven't used it for a while, what's going to happen? The steam turns back into water. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'll bring this out, and I'm going to squirt some water. See the water come out? So always purge the steam wand, otherwise that water is going into your milk. So what we need to do is we need to submerge the steam wand inside the milk. You don't want to get this touching the bottom, otherwise it's going to flick right up. You don't want it too close to the top, otherwise milk's going to spray everywhere. You just got to submerge this, and then we're going to turn it on and get a circular motion going. So give the milk 1 or 2 seconds to find its motion, and then we're going to slowly take the milk jug out or away from the steam wand, so it's gently kissing the surface like a kind of sound. Then we keep that motion for as long as we desire. Depends if you're doing a flat white, a latte, cappuccino. What we're doing now is we're stretching the milk. We're literally putting steam and air into it. Then when we think we've got enough, we'll bury it again so it goes silent. Then it keeps spinning around in the same motion. It's going to stay silent, and then we just put my fingers up against the jug until I go ow. Then it'll be 65 degrees. So let's go. Ow. See? Between 60 and 65 degrees. The next thing we do is to put the milk down for a second. We wipe this down every time. Get rid of any milk that might be in there. And then your milk should look like, well, basically marshmallows or wet paint, and have very little bubbles in it. All right. And then we'll pour out. So just get a heart, we're just going to pour in one spot, like this. Just ease through it, and get yourself a little heart. And quite often you'll have what they call leftover milk. Do not ever reuse this milk. That's the equivalent of cooking an egg and reheating it in a microwave or something. It will taste like shit. So this milk should always be thrown away. That's why you have different size jugs.